Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast. It is August the 30th, Tuesday, and here's something. We got football this week. Big time football coming up. Let's get a round of applause for that.
Oh, yeah, here we go, baby.
Man, college football week one preview. I'm your host, Chase Johns. I got Brady to the right. What's going on?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. I am doing better than I have been for a while. Been waiting for this week since January 1st, and even before that. Obviously, since November 27th. But I just can't wait, man. I can't wait to get this started, and can't wait to preview week one of college football today.
Same here, man. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the next couple of days and really this entire season and all. Football is coming back. It's really, really close. And then we got right down at the bottom, Matt Ricketts, man. What's up?
What's up, man? I'm ecstatic, man. That's the best word I could use to describe how I'm feeling. We got some big news coming. Yep. We got some big games coming this week. This game is massive, man, just for so many reasons. We got the 20-year anniversary this game of the reunion of the national championship team in 2002. Everybody's going to be back. All the players. Jim Tressel's coming back. The hype is huge. It's a top 5 match. Bronny's coming on an official visit for basketball. LeBron, Justin Fields, all the celebrities are coming back. Yep. Horseshoe, top 5 game. There's nothing better than this right here. I'm going to be 10, 15 beers deep by kickoff. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
I'll tell you, man, OSU back, baby. I'll tell you that. But, just for all you out there, follow us on Instagram and Twitter and all that. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest episodes and video releases for our show because you're not going to want to miss these, all right? So September 6th, we got 8:15 p.m. We got Ian Eagle coming on the show. He's going to give us an NFL Week 1 preview. Obviously, he's calling the Bengals-Steelers game in September 11th and just break down the entire slate for that. But, man, a lot of news has come lately in the last hour and a half. And speaking of that, 26 years since we played them in the regular season, we got breaking news for you. D. Miller, former Ohio State wide receiver, will be joining the show tomorrow night at 9:00 p.m. What is your initial reaction to this?
I think it's great. Getting a former wide receiver that played against Notre Dame in a home-and-home from our hometown on the show to talk about Ohio State football versus Notre Dame and just his experience in general is awesome. Very excited about it.
I can't wait.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago, trying to get him on, and finally came to fruition for us. So, this was the perfect guest to have during this week, just because, like Brady said, he was on the 95 and 96 team when we played Notre Dame the last times we played him in the regular season. Springfield South graduate, so he's from around here, from where we're from. I'm really excited. It's going to be great tomorrow. I can't wait.
Definitely, man. We'll get some really good insights on, his background, his life, his time at Ohio State, and what he's doing right now. And obviously, we'll get into some college football picks that time tomorrow. But right now, we're going to get into some week 1 college football preview. It's that time. But, we have really 5 games highlighted throughout, this week 1 and all. Because you look at it, this is normally the week where you have, big schools, Power 5 schools are playing against some of the real small FCS schools or just the, the no names, the MACs and all that. And no slight to the MAC teams because, MAC teams, all those schools down there. But, normally it's some, drowning out football around the 12 o'clock hour. But that's why we're hopping to 3:30, all right? 3:30, we got Cincinnati and Arkansas. I remember last year, Cincinnati, they got to the college football playoff. They made a Cinderella run, just like their counterpart in the NFL. I'm sorry, I got to bring that up. But, the Bearcats made their run to Dallas last year and lost to Alabama. Ended a very Cinderella season, but they take on Arkansas, down there. And Arkansas had a really good year last year. They got rid of a couple of key players. They graduated and drafted last year. But man, what do y'all see in this game? Because Cincinnati, they're gonna have to rebound from a lot of guys that they lost to the NFL and all that. So what do you all want to see out of Cincinnati? I'll start with Brady first.
What I want to see from Cincinnati is can their starting quarterback, whether it be Evan Prater or Ben Bryant, bring to the table what Desmond Ridder was able to bring last year, which is just very consistent QB play, especially for the level of competition they had. He was one of the best in the country last year. Can they step up? And I think this team won't miss too much of a beat on defense, even though they lost. Losing Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant and those guys, that's never going to be good. But I think Luke Fickell's a great defensive-minded coach. And losing also they lost Perry Eliano, who was their DB coach, which to Ohio State. But I don't think they'll be too big of a drop off on defense. I think they'll be back up there. I'm ready to see the offensive side of the football, though, and I think Luke Fickell will have Cincinnati right there where they want him to be, even with the key losses from last year's team.
Exactly. I mean, Luke Fickell is going to prepare him really well. I mean, they've had some really good seasons in the past, and obviously they're coming off of a bit of a different one, making that magical run there. But it'd be very interesting to see what Cincinnati can do off the rebound, off of such a really really high that they had last year. Winning the American and going to the college football playoff and all, losing to Alabama, but. Matt, I want to see your thoughts on Cincinnati coming into this year. I think Brady broke it down pretty well, but what do you got?
I'm concerned about. I mean, just overall talent with their recruiting. It's just not as good. Typically, it's not as an elite as Ohio State, Alabama, things like that. But their coaching staff is really, really good. So I think Cincinnati will be a 10-2, 11-1 team again. I think the only game Cincinnati might lose is this one right here. For me, I like Arkansas this year. I do. Arkansas has a lot of talent coming back. KJ Jefferson's a really good quarterback. Their schedule, especially, it's very favorable. Their crossovers with the East, I think, are South Carolina and Missouri.
West, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, from the West. Yeah, their crossovers. Right. Well, Arkansas's in the West. Yeah, their crossovers to the East. Yeah. You're good. You're good. Their crossovers are South Carolina and Missouri. So they're drawing two good teams, two favorable matchups in the East. Obviously, they have Bama, A&M, LSU, Auburn. You run through that, I think it's a 10-2. I think it's a 10-2 football team. So a 10-2, maybe even 11-1 if they can come out and beat Texas A&M too. So I think Arkansas is a very good team. I think this is going to be a really good game. It's a really good preview, a really good appetizer for the nightcaps that we have later on. You're going to have two games running and then you have Oregon and Georgia running here at 3:32. So I think this is going to be a really good game, but I tend to lean towards Arkansas, but I think both teams are going to have really good years. So I think you look back when we get to the end of the season, I think you might look back on this game being like, hey, that was one hell of a football game for an early in the season, kickoff to the season. That was one hell of a game. So I'm excited to watch this one. This will definitely be on one of my TV screens on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, and a thing I didn't hit enough on Arkansas. I just want to bring out a couple more points on them. They got a huge transfer out of the portal this year, in my opinion, with former number 1 wide receiver, 5-star Jaden Hazelwood,
100%.
Oklahoma. He was at Oklahoma. He battled injuries, but when he was in there, he scored a good amount of touchdowns. So really found his rhythm the last couple of games with Caleb Williams at QB for Oklahoma. He's a bigger body receiver. He was number 1, and Garrett Wilson was 2. I'm happy we got the second one and not the first.
Yeah.
Still a great player. And I think with filling in that Traylon Burks position is perfect for him. And I think that Jaden Hazelwood – and I remember when we did the top 10 receivers in the country, I think he has for sure a good chance to crack that end of the year list and be one of the best receivers in the SEC. So watch out for him this game, especially with the elite DBs gone from Cincinnati. That could be a problem.
And that's and something I also want to touch on, is their quarterback KJ Jefferson last year. I mean, he started all 13 games at quarterback, threw for 2,676 yards, completed 67% of his passes, and 21 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. I mean, with the addition of a guy like Jaden Hazelwood filling in for Traylon Burks, do you think his numbers are going to, drastically improve, or will he be about the same guy that he was last year?
I think his numbers are improving. Brady, I don't know about you. I think he might have a top 5 college quarterback year. I'm not sure in terms of numbers wise. Maybe he might not be the NFL guy There might be guys that don't have as good a college, statistical year in college that end up being drafted higher or end up being a better pro. I just think KJ Jefferson's going to have a good year. I like Arkansas a lot this year. What about you, Brady?
I'm right with you there with him having a great year. I think his numbers will improve from last year. Obviously, leading Traylon Burks is huge, but they don't really lose much else.
Not at all.
And they gave Jaden Hazelwood, who honestly, like, who knows? Maybe he is Traylon Burks. Like, I'm not going to put that out of the equation with him being somewhere maybe not quite the level, but up there, and especially being just a very reliable red zone target, which is what you need to throw touchdown passes. So I say definitely look to improve those numbers, maybe a couple more picks, being more aggressive. But honestly, you don't want your quarterback throwing 4 picks sometimes. You want them throwing more the 7, 8, meaning they threw more touchdown passes too. So if he can just increase those numbers a little bit and obviously keep what he's doing on the ground because he's a good runner, this man, you're looking at a second-team All-SEC QB potential.
I mean, I got to keep it a buck with you, man. I mean, Arkansas's – I mean, they're Razorback. I mean, it looks aggressive as hell. And if Arkansas can play offense just like their mascot looks, it could be in for a really good season for the Razorbacks. But we'll kind of roll into this next one, though. Another 3:30 game. It's on ABC. I'm sure a lot more people will be watching this one. Oregon and Georgia. Number 11, Oregon. They got quarterback Bo Nix from Auburn, taking over the reins. That game's going to be down in Atlanta, by the way. Wanted to keep that a buck there. But Bo Nix in there. He's got a pretty young supporting cast, I would say. They got Byron Cardwell at running back, a sophomore, and then they got a whole sophomore receiver slew with Troy Franklin, Dante Thornton, and Seven McGee, all sophomores. So very young core for Bo Nix, who seems to be a little bit of a veteran and all. Like, I feel like he's been around for quite a while, just to say. But, I mean, he's seen this Georgia defense quite a few times. How do y'all think Bo Nix is going to perform against this, obviously star-studded Georgia team? I mean, obviously they lost a lot of guys to the draft, off their national championship success and season. But how do y'all see Bo Nix playing on Saturday?
Go ahead.
I think he'll play all right. Not terrible, not great. Right in the middle. I think the Dogs roll. I think they crush them. But this game is kind of an interesting game storyline wise. With Oregon's new head coach was the DC for Georgia in the national championship, so that's an interesting dynamic. Oh, yeah. First game coming back after they won the Natty, he's a head coach and he's playing the team he just coached. So that's something to watch. That's just kind of a cool storyline for this game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But overall, I just think Georgia's going to crush them. I really do. I think their defense is just they just have so many guys. It's just like a defensive factory. It's almost like Alabama was in the early Nick Saban years, whereas to now Alabama's turned into more of an offensive factory where they're putting in skill position guys and offensive linemen in the draft constantly, and they still have good defensive guys. Mm-hmm. But in the early years when Saban just got hired at Alabama, it was just a defensive factory. They're just reloading, best defense every year. I like Georgia to win by 2 or 3 scores for sure. I think they're going to crush them.
Yeah. So to hit on the Bo Nix question, the fact that he's already played Georgia and all, he's never played good against Georgia really, from what I've watched them. So. But he is a 4-year starting quarterback. This will be his 4th year starting at QB. So maybe he finally improves there. Receiving core, So honestly, I'm not sure too much about if Bo Nix will have a great game. But like Matt said, I think he could definitely play decent because I don't think he's awful.
Yeah. Like you're saying, like I don't think he's a terrible quarterback.
Yeah.
But like I just don't. Like he's going to play. I just don't think it's going to matter. You know what I mean? Like right. I just think Georgia's going to dominate. So
yeah, Bo Nix is not going to throw them to victory by any means.
Exactly. He's not going to win them the game. It's going to take literally. He's going to have a lot of help from his supporting cast to win this game for sure.
Right. And
that's
then
the way I look at it.
I do think that Oregon has a fantastic linebacker core with Noah Sewell and Justin Flo, 2 5-star linebackers from that 2020 class hitting their junior year. Noah Sewell's already proved it on the field. Justin Flo was very popular for his mixtape of just blitzing and killing quarterbacks in high school.
Oh, yeah, Justin Flo's a hell of a player. I mean, he was out. He was out against us last year, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
He didn't even play, and we still got
as well as Kayvon Thibodeau too.
Yeah, Thibodeau was out too. Yeah, but Justin Flo and Thibodeau were like the headliners of that team last year, and they came in to still fucking kill.
Flo hasn't really played his whole career, so it's tough. Noah Sewell, I think, is the best player on that defense because he's more proven.
Proven. Right.
But Justin Flo, I mean, he's a weapon that you can use. And then the Oregon side, from the Georgia front, I do think they win, just like Matt said. I don't think it's that close. The point spread that I saw was kind of crazy. I saw
it's pretty high.
And with that, we're gonna talk about that with the picks and all that tomorrow. Yeah. Matt's got a couple of bets that we'll see what's going on.
A couple bets you got to lock in.
A couple bets you got to lock in for that.
Locked on sports with Matt Ricketts.
Matt's our bear. He's our bear. You know what I'm saying? So
$99 a month.
And I will say, I talk about that Georgia defense though. With losing a lot of guys to the National Football League, who is someone you really want to see perform well? Who is someone that you're going to keep your eyes on in this game for the Georgia defense?
Keely Ringo. I think people are getting. I don't think so far up to this point in his career. I don't think he's been the best up to. I don't think he's a first-round corner yet, like some people. I think he had the game-winning pick six against Bama. Bryce Young threw that thing right to him. Like, he's fast. We know that. He took it to the crib, but he got absolutely cooked in the SEC title game by Jamison Williams. I mean, absolutely torched. So. For 180, and he was the primary corner guarding him. So I think if Keely Ringo can play a little bit more disciplined and not give up big plays with his athleticism and ball skills, you're looking at a potential best corner in the nation right there on Georgia's defense. And Georgia's defense, it'll still be one of the best in the nation, at least top two in the SEC. I'm definitely saying Bama's got the best defense in the country this year, so I'll just put that out there now. So last year it was Georgia, clearly. And then, do you like my offensive thoughts at all, or do you want me to wait?
We'll get to that. I want to hear what Matt's got to say about the defense, though.
Yeah, you're right about Ringo would have been my pick, but the guy I'll say now, Jalen Carter. I saw a mock draft yesterday where he was the second number 2 overall.
Yeah,
they had him. They had him in front. Yeah, he was the second best. So I think it was like it went Anderson,
Carter. Stroud at 3. Yeah. Bryce Young was like 10, wasn't he?
Bryce Young was really low, and then Jackson. So, but Jalen Carter, I mean, he's a hell of a defensive tackle. So just that's a guy I would keep an eye on as well. He had a hell of a year last year. He kind of got, they had so many good players. He was, I wouldn't say overlooked, but like just obviously he wasn't like the celebrity or the one on that team. This year, he's the guy on the defensive line. So watch out for Jalen Carter too.
Yeah, I mean, and you got guys like last year, like Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis and all.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
exactly. They were the headliners.
He's getting overshadowed by Jordan Davis.
Exactly. And that's a big shadow. We got to keep it real. That's a huge ass shadow. All right,
it's a big ass shadow.
I'll tell you that, man. I hope he balls out the Eagles though. But someone I'm looking forward to. I'm watching and Nolan Smith, the Jack linebacker for them. Very big guy and all. I was just getting hit to him because one of my good friends here, Bryson, actually went to high school with him. He played with him all the way up, so he knows a lot about Nolan Smith. I just want to see how he really is as the Jack linebacker, the outside linebacker position.
He was the number 1 player in the country out of high school.
Yeah. So I definitely want to see what he's about in his senior year and all. See what he can do. And on that offensive side of the ball, obviously Stetson Bennett, their quarterback, returning. Had a heck of an interview last year. Right after the national championship. I don't know whose bright idea that was to have him on the morning after the national championship, but that remains to be unseen. So, they got Kenny McIntosh at running back, and they got Mitchell, McConkey, and Kieran Jackson at wide receiver. But when we're looking at this Georgia offense, I know Stetson Bennett is a one-time national champion. What steps do you think he'll take this year? Brady, starting with you.
So Stetson, obviously everyone knows he's not this big, athletic, playmaking, 5-star talent NFL quarterback. But I think people are overlooking the fact that he made the throw to win the national championship to Mitchell on a go ball. He stepped up had to deliver one downfield, big time, third down, I believe, touchdown. So I think Stetson Bennett's better than people give him credit for. He's good. He's really good at finding like tight ends, which is great for Brock Bowers, and finding and reading the field. I think he's very solid at. And I would take him over guys like Cade McNamara at Michigan, since they love having these QB controversies. And like I saw a tweet that said 90% of people would take Cade McNamara or JJ McCarthy as their starter. I said, no, they wouldn't. No, you're telling me 90%.
That's the clean version of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 90% of teams are not saying I want Cade McNamara or JJ McCarthy, because Michigan fans are the only ones that act like JJ McCarthy is the number one QB in the nation, one of the best QBs in the nation, even though he's never done anything yet. He has to prove it still. So I just wanted to say that. So Stetson, very solid quarterback. And then running back core, lose their top two guys, but they have two more coming right up with Kendall Milton and Kenny McIntosh. Very, very good potential there at running back for that duo.
Mm-hmm.
Tight end, Brock Bowers.
Obviously.
What's his name? Darnell Washington, 6'8", 270.
Dudes are huge, man.
Eric Gilbert, I mean, unreal. He projected top 10 in some drafts, and he's their number 2 or 3 tight end.
They're 3 tight ends deep, bro.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Crazy.
They have 3 of the top 5 tight ends in the country, and there's no question about it. Like,
it's insane. Like, they're 3 deep, and they're all pros. Like,
yeah,
they're all pros.
Bowers is the second best receiver in the country. Behind Jackson Smith and Jib. Like, if I'm taking a guy that's just dynamic and I don't think anyone can guard him, he's my second choice. Mm-hmm. Like, he's that good. And the receiving core I think isn't bad. I mean, it's not too flashy, but Lad McConkey, little white slot receiver, he's actually pretty good, surprisingly. Like, he's really athletic, actually, surprising. And Mitchell, he's solid, caught the game-winning. He was a freshman last year and caught the big-time touchdown pass in the Natty. And who was the other one?
Kearis Jackson.
Kearis Jackson, that's it. Number 10, he's a quick guy, shifty, fast. I mean, solid receiving core out there. And then they always have a solid O-line. So Stetson Bennett can find his rhythm out. He's got the guys to throw to. We'll see if he puts it together. Should be a solid offense this year.
Yeah. I mean, and you look at it, I mean, Georgia might be the new tight end right now. It might be coming up in the next couple of years. I mean, you look at it, Iowa was the place to go. You had a lot of producing of tight ends, but Georgia might be on the swing for that one. But
I got to say this real quick because it's for the 2022 class, they landed the number 1 tight end in the country.
Oh, there you go.
On this team. He's their 4th tight end. And I'm pretty sure in 2023 they have a top 2 tight end as well.
Oscar Delp,
yep. He's a beast, and he's their 4th tight end.
Well, I'm just going to go on ahead and give them the reins to it. Congratulations. You are a tight end university now. Athens, you got a bunch of tight ends, a bunch of big dudes. They
have insane depth on the least important position on the offense.
Exactly. And, talking about the universities, man, we're going to go down to, down to Gainesville where FU, Florida University is hosting number 7 Utah, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Utah played Ohio State last year in the Rose Bowl, gave us a really good game and all. Had a lead for quite a while, but Ohio State was able to battle back. Obviously, C.J. Stroud and Jackson Smith and Jigba posted career days. I mean, that was a beautiful game to watch in general. Well, I wouldn't say beautiful. I mean, the comeback was, but we'll talk about Ohio State in a minute. But Utah, man, number 7, they're up there in the rankings. They got some returners this year, and then obviously you got Florida, who's been on a little bit of a decline. 2020 was that year when they had Kyle Pitts and Kyle Trask of all people. But, it's in the swamp, 7 o'clock, ESPN. Set the scene for me, Matt.
I think Utah wins by a lot of points. I do. I like Utah a lot in this game. It's going to be loud, for sure. The swamp is huge.
Is this a Matt Pick game? Is this one of our?
This might be a Matt Pick game. You have to wait. You might have to wait.
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned. But I like Utah in this one. Cam Rising's coming back. Just watching Utah last year, I know our defense wasn't very good, but they just pounded us, man. Like they just were running down our fucking throats all night long, just pounded us. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just like the toughness and the physical nature that Kyle Whittingham has for that team. It's just like it reminds me of Pat Fitzgerald, a great coach, defensive minded, all that, but with better talent. Utah just gets better players than Northwestern does. So Anthony Richardson for Florida started to come on strong last year. He's a really dynamic quarterback too. Florida I'm just not sold on him yet. You know what I mean? They're starting to build the program back, get back going a little bit, but I don't know, man. I'm not sold on Florida at all. So I like Utah big in this one for sure.
Yeah, I'm right with you there, Matt. I think I'd pick this. I personally love the spread with Utah.
Oh, there you go.
I think it might be a Matt Picks game.
This might be a Brady King pick too.
Ooh, I don't know. A little tag team effort right there.
It is, and Florida. I mean, there's no reason to believe they'll be an elite team this year. Like there's a 100%. Reason. There's a reason you see a number before their name right down there in the graphic. They didn't do anything last year to show that they have the ability to win these big games, and Utah is legitimate. I mean, number 7 is a very fair ranking for them. Cam Rising, very good quarterback, and we were just talking about Georgia's tight ends. This is the second best tight end room in the country right here. You got Brent Kuthi and Dalton Kincaid, who are both considered to be top 10 tight ends in the nation. Kincaid actually was rumored to transfer to Bama because he wanted to be like the only tight end because he's a great player. But he decided to stay with Utah. Elite tight end duo. Tavion Thomas out of Dayton Dunbar at running back who scored so many touchdowns last year. One of the best backs down there in the big Pac-12. And the defense of Utah, apparently their pass defense isn't great, as we saw in the Rose Bowl. But I don't know if it was like that all year. I just know that game was awful the amount of yards they gave up was insane passing. But Anthony Richardson, because I want to talk about him just real quick. He is maybe the most physically gifted quarterback in the country. Huge, fast, and has an absolute cannon. But will he put it all together? Will he throw the ball accurately? Will he make the right decisions? And
will it even matter if he puts it all together? Like I think that's a fair question too. Will it even matter? Because like Florida's defense, that's what I'm saying. Like he could put it all together, have a great year, and they go like 8-4. Like
it won't matter on the national landscape.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like to get Florida back to like elite level, like I don't even know if it matters if he puts it all together. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't know if they're that good enough around him.
No.
On offense and defensively too, to be able to get you understand where I'm coming from? Like to be able to be national, even if he has a great year. So
I agree. I think he's just the type of guy that can make things exciting.
Absolutely.
If they need a big play, like they go down 10 points, chuck one down the sideline, he might throw a beautiful ball down there. But in terms of just a whole national landscape, they're not going to be a playoff contender or anything like that, no matter what Richardson is, because they don't have the wide receivers or the O-line or really anything else other than him. If he puts it together, if he is last year's Anthony Richardson, they're going to get smoked.
100%.
I ranked him really high on our top 10 quarterbacks list because I usually don't buy into the hype of all this trait stuff, but I think this is a case where this guy actually can make plays. Like there's times where I watch him, he'll run it for 70 yards and he's just rolling down the sideline. I think he's a good football player. I really do. But we'll see what happens here.
Yep.
I like Utah.
Yep. And I mean, that might be a Brady's pick, might be a Matt's pick. There might be a lot of picks for this one tomorrow. So we'll keep in tune for that one. Utah, Florida, Saturday the 3rd, 7 o'clock on ESPN. And that's a game that I probably won't watch because another game that I probably won't watch is Utah State and Alabama. That's Saturday the 3rd at 7:30. Might keep a nice little eye on that one. That's on the SEC network. Alabama lost in the national championship last year. They won the SEC, though. They were the number 1 team in the country. Obviously, they bring back Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young, who's a junior. And then they got Jermaine Burton through that transfer portal, Trayshawn Holden, and Kobe Prentice, their receiving core right there, and Jameer Gibbs. Is it Jameer or Jamar? Jameer. Okay. Yep. So he's their running back they got from the transfer portal as well. So Now, so they play Utah State. Utah State had a really good year last year. I believe they were 10-3, 11-3. Real nice year for them out there. They come to Tuscaloosa. They come to Bryant-Denny. 7:30 night game. I mean, it looks like when teams normally travel in there at night, it's basically a death wish. So, we've seen it so many times with Alabama. They just, with Bryant-Denny, they seem like they're almost invincible and unbeatable. But what can we expect from Bryce Young off a Heisman Trophy season? Matt, I'm going to go to you.
Oh, I think he's going to have another great year. For me, this game is. They're gonna blow him out. It's just more interesting to watch who's popping for Bama. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
And we know. So Jahmyr Gibbs he was a 4-star running back. We recruited him hard pretty well. Ended up staying home and going to Georgia Tech, and then now to Alabama. So he's a star. Like he was recruited. We recruited him pretty hard. Almost had him. So he's going to be a very good running back. Like if Ohio State's recruiting you're good enough, right? Yep. So I'm looking for him to have a big year for sure. But receiver wise, you said Prentice, and obviously Jermaine Burton coming in too. Who's going to be? I told you in our top 10 receivers list, I had Burton up there just because Bryce Young's got to throw it to somebody, right?
Yep.
Who's going to be that second guy? You know what I mean? So I'm looking to see who pops on Alabama's offense as that second and third receiver for Bryce Young to throw to.
Yep.
They're going to put up big numbers in this game. It's going to be a blowout for sure. But it's just always when you watch these type of games, who's making the big plays, who's going to be making the big plays in the big games. When it comes down to when they're playing LSU, Auburn, A&M, teams like that. So that's kind of what I'm looking for in this game. But I think Bryce Young has a hell of a year. I really do. I think in terms of Heisman Trophy, he'll probably end up being a finalist for sure. It's just voters don't want to vote for a guy twice anymore. It just doesn't happen. You really have to have such a huge gap to where it's not even close to somebody else.
Exactly.
For you to win it twice, just because nobody wants to give it's just so sacred. Archie Griffin winning it twice, it's just so sacred. It's just really hard to win it twice. So I don't see him repeating as a Heisman Trophy winner. I think we all know who I think is going to win that. But
I think we all know. We all have the same pick. I think we all do. We all have it. Yeah.
The odds-on favorite.
You guys are going with Cade McNamara to win it too. I didn't know you guys.
I'm going with Cade.
I think J.J. McCarthy is going to break through week 2, and he's going to take off and be the starter the rest of the year.
Actually, I'm going to ride with Aiden O'Connell from Purdue. I think they're going to win the national title game.
He was the best QB in the Big Ten today.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
That's kind of that's my take on the game. I think Bryce Young's going to have a great year. But go ahead, Brady.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like Matt, I'm really not going to get into Utah State because as much as this game as what we need to see from Bama in terms of going ahead this season, because everyone wants to know about Bama, the number 1 team in the country. So Bryce Young, returning Heisman winner at quarterback, no issues there. Jahmyr Gibbs, Georgia Tech's offensive line wasn't that good, but he was still insanely dynamic in the pass game and in the run game, breaking off some big plays. Like Matt said, Ohio State recruited him, really wanted him, didn't have a scholarship spot, but he's a great player, so no issues there. He found his way. We got Travion, all good there, but sadly, Bama had to go out and get them. He changes this offense for me. If he can do what I think he's going to do. This offense without him really doesn't overly impress me. I think the O-line is solid, top 10 in the country, but not the best. I think the tight end core is okay with Cameron Latu, solid starting tight end for sure. The wide receiver room, it doesn't wow me. It really doesn't. Just look at their starting 3 receivers. Nobody really knew who was going to be the starters. You look at Jermaine Burton. He's been a solid receiver at Georgia to this point, shown some deep ball promise. But he hasn't been one of the best receivers in the country. Could be at Bama. So solid wide receiver 1 there. Trayshawn Holden has never looked good to me coming in backup time for them. He's number 11. He was a 3-star and hasn't shown to be much more. And then Kobe Prentice, true freshman, very fast, but it's a true freshman starting at Alabama. over guys like Ja'Cory Brooks and JoJo Earl and guys that are sophomores. So this receiving core is nice. So we'll see what happens with that. The fact that it's Bama and they developed so well at that position could they'll still throw the ball really well this year and have a great passing offense, rushing offense. Defensive side of the football. This is far and away, right now, on paper, the best defense in the country. Look at the cornerback position. JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry on one side.
Who?
Yeah, his name is Quincy McKinstry, and his nickname is Kool-Aid.
That's a whole name in itself.
I just call him Kool-Aid.
I just wanted to say that he was a lockdown freshman. He was one of the best freshman corners in the nation, along with Denzel Burke. 5-star number 1 corner. He's a starter. Eli Ricks has said to not be starting, but he's going to start.
He's going to start.
It was a disciplinary thing.
He might not. Yeah, he might not start week 1. He's going to start.
He's the best right now to this career up to this point. He's arguably the best corner in the country. So
100%. Yeah, he's by far the most talented in the room there.
Yeah. So he's got the corners are great, and then they have a lot of depth there. Other than them too. So they're good there. Safeties, Jordan Battle, one of the better safeties in the country, hard hitting, great player. Used to be an Ohio State commit. Wish we still had him. It's all
Fuck
right.
this. Fuck this.
Yeah. Brian Branch.
Thanks, Jordan.
He's been starting for like 3 years. Really good safety. Malachi Moore is the other safety. Had like 3 pick sixes his freshman year, which was 2 years ago. He's a beast. And you talk about this linebacker core. I mean, it's absolutely nasty. The two edge linebackers that like to rush the passer are Will Anderson, who had 17.5 sacks last year and is the best defensive player in the nation by far. He's going to be nuts. I mean, unblockable. He's going to be, not saying he's Chase Young, but he's going to have like that. He's going to be that type of player this year, like where he's like the far and away like best defensive player in the nation. And then on the other end, they have true sophomore Dallas Turner, who is a freak pass rusher as well. Honestly, he might be a top 5 pass rusher in the nation as well. I think that for sure. Henry To'oTo'o, one of the better middle linebackers in the country in terms of just making plays and getting tackles. Transferred from Tennessee, really good player. Jalen Moody was a former high 4-star, low 5-star in high school. Has been playing some backup time, waiting to start his whole career. He's going to be good. And then their D-line is returning multiple guys on the interior. And then Will Anderson always is on the edge, so he basically counts as both. So this defense is absolutely nuts. I mean, it's nuts. It's like the Ohio State offense. Those are the two, and that's why they're projected to meet in the national championship, because you got the best defense versus the best offense is what I think could happen.
Damn, call me SpongeBob because I just absorbed all the information you just gave me. And Speaking of which, this next game that we're talking about here, we learned a little bit about Alabama. Didn't talk a whole lot about Utah State. We're going to talk about both these teams coming up here because I did this earlier. Hold on. Well, we love to see it. Notre Dame, Ohio State, Saturday, September 3rd, 7:30 on ABC. Man,
I can't.
Ready for that one, man. Oh, boy.
So, all these other games, who cares about those compared to this one? Especially
compared to this one, man, like no other. Okay, This is one of the most anticipated games we've seen in such a long time. I'm gonna let y'all boys break this one down. I do want to say this is gonna be a crazy event at the show. The entire thing. You got College Game Day. Jack Harlow for some damn reason's coming on, but okay, he starts 4 in Cincinnati, 6th or the 5th. Do whatever you want with that. But I mean, you've got the entire thing coming. You got like Matt said, 2002 national championship teams coming back, 20-year reunion. Man, I can't really put a pinpoint on where to start myself. But Brady, you're going to be at the game. Matt, you're going to be about 10 to 15 beers in before the game starts. I'm going to be chewing down on some food and some barbecue watching this game. But I want to hear what y'all got to say about this. What does a sober Matt Ricketts have to say? And then I want to hear what the man Brady King's got to say, who's going to be in attendance and very close to the game. Who wants to go first? I don't care.
Matt, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
All right. So I mean, like, I just get so excited talking about it. You know what I mean? Like,
look at the background. Look at the background. I mean, if you guys can see it.
The background, I mean, it's just one of the most classic pictures ever. I've been telling these guys for weeks that I hope Travion Henderson has.
You told me this December 31st, 2021.
I did say this.
Yep.
I did. December 31st, I said I hope Travion Henderson's running down the sideline. 3 Notre Dame, those beautiful gold dome helmets, just chasing his ass, and he's taking it for a 50-yard touchdown or something. But anyways, just getting to breaking the actual game down. I think we are we really outmatch them a lot in terms of skill on both sides of the ball, skill position wise. Notre Dame's had some injuries on offense, especially at receiver on the outside. We talked about Michael Mayer in the pregame or before we got on here today, Brady. I think he's their best playmaker on the team. I think they've got some offensive and defensive linemen that might end up being better pros than him. But as a college player, I think he's their best player.
Yeah.
Really what I think it's going to come down to for them with starting a first-time starter and Buckner at quarterback, they've got to be able to run the ball consistently all night long so that their play action can open up with Michael Mayer. So and the problem is that we talked about how we're going to defend them in the pregame before we got on here, Brady.
Yep.
We're going to go with the 2 hi-hat or the 1 hi-hat.
Yep, we did.
The 2 hi-hat look. I don't get too much into X's and O's here, but that's how I'm going to break it down.
That's cool of it.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 hi-hat look, it kills you because you get beat over in the middle more. You know, the safeties are split. Who's got this guy on this side of the field? Who's got this guy on that side of the field? It allows for the tight end to get down in the middle in the crease and gash us. I mean, there's no secret Ohio State defenses have been torched by tight ends multiple times in the past years. So I guess that could be something I'm really worried about is how we're going to come out and defend it. You go with the 1 hi-hat look, the middle of the field's closed. It's not open, right? You got linebackers bracketing over that can help on the tight end in coverage and things like that. So, like I said, if I think we are them having to run, I don't think they're going to be able to line up and throw the ball against our corners. Our corners are too good. Denzel Ward is too good. Denzel Burke. I said Denzel Ward. Denzel Burke is too damn good.
Denzel Ward's good too, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. You asked me yesterday, Brady, who our best defensive player was. I told you I think it's Denzel. I think it's going to be Denzel Burke. I think he's going to be a top 2 or 3 corner lockdown in the nation. Got Cam Brown. I think our back end is really solidified and is really good. They're not going to, especially with a first-time starting quarterback, they're not going to be able to sit and pick us apart and they're going to have to be able to line up and run the ball at us. And I think we know that. I think we put our DBs on an island, say, you guys, man for man, we're guarding you for you. We're not helping over the top. We're not doing this, that, or the other. And we're going to load the box and see if we can go man for man with them all night long. So that's what I think it comes. I think it comes down to that because we're going to score no matter what. It might take it. We might have a couple kinks going early on offense, just trying to get in the rhythm, big game, jitters, whatever. It's the first game for everybody. It's not like we're going to come out and we just played last week, pick up with where we left off on offense. But I think it's really going to come down to if Notre Dame can run the ball successfully, it'll be a close game. For me personally, I don't see it happening. I think they might have a little bit of success early just for us getting settled in, like I said. I think we end up loading the box, stopping their run, and forcing their receivers to beat our corners and their quarterback to put the ball where it's got to go. I mean, they have Lorenzo Styles from Pickerington Central. He's an athletic kid. He's fast. Avery Davis is an athletic kid too. They got athletes. Notre Dame has athletes. It's just that the skill isn't – it's not – there's levels to this, as I like to say. There's levels to the skill that we have and they don't have. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I think I mean, Tyler Buckner, he was a highly recruited kid, 4-star. He's pretty athletic. So that's another dynamic we might have to defend, especially in third down situations where play breaks down, the quarterback can scramble a little bit, get a 3rd and 5. When they call a pass play, the play breaks down, he can take off and get 5 yards for the first down. So that's another thing we might have to defend. But like I said, I think we load the box, force them to beat us throwing the ball, and I just don't think Notre Dame could do it. They are very, 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 very stout up front on both sides of the ball. Isaiah Falsley, they got their defensive line is probably one of the top 2 or 3 in the country for sure. I would say probably second in terms of coming back, 2nd or 3rd behind Georgia and Bama. I mean, they have some really good players up there. So that's something to watch, especially the way we got pushed around against Michigan last year up front. I'm really anxious to see how we come off the ball and run the ball down their throats a little bit, attack them, see how physical we are at the point of attack. And then offensive line, Notre Dame always has offensive linemen that are really good. Jarrett Patterson, Brandon Joseph. So guys like that for Notre Dame that are really good up front too. So I think it's going to be an interesting game early, tight game early. But I think they're not going to be able to stop us, man. They're just not. They're not for 4 quarters. We're just too good. So I'm excited. Like I feel like I'm rambling a little bit now, but so many things going on in my head. So many keys. So many.
I mean, it's great.
So many this, that, or the other. But I really think it's just going to help. If we can stop their run, they're not going to be able to hit us with the play action over the top to their best player. They're just not. Like, you understand what I'm getting at? They're going to have to run the ball successfully all night long to be able to open up the pass game for them. I don't think it's going to happen. So that's kind of my key to the game.
Great insights there, Matt. Brady, what's your thoughts on this? You're going to be in the shoe that night.
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, this is the type of game where you just can't wait for. It's hard to even explain. Like, I've been ready for this game. The anticipation for me going to a game has never been this high.
100%.
Even higher than all the Michigan games, you'd say?
For sure, yep. Just because and
I mean, the history standpoint. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying because those games weren't bigger than this. It's because I didn't have as much time to realize I was going to the game and I was involved in this game. I've been sitting here all summer thinking about it, like not really being as busy, like just thinking about this game. Mm-hmm. I can't wait. And man, so like Matt said, I think about everything. Like, I worry about everything and just think about everything. Yeah. I worry about Al Washington knowing our plays. Like, I worry about stuff like that. Not that he'll be fine.
Oh, quick note on that before you keep going, Brady. Okay. And Ryan's presser today, one of the reporters asked him, said, "Hey, what about Al? Like, are you guys going to change signals and things like that?" Because Al knows. He said, "Well, Al does know a lot, about what goes on in our program, so we've definitely kept it in mind." So, like, Ryan's been thinking about it at least. So, like,
I'm happy to know.
The signals and all the shit. Like, one of the reporters asked that question. I knew Al coached for him, but it didn't cross my mind, like, signal wise. Like, they could be picking that shit off. Like, it didn't cross my mind, but like, it crossed Ryan's obviously. So, like, but I'm sorry for interrupting, but I feel like that was something that would be cool to say. Yeah, go ahead.
It was something that needed to be said, especially, for sure. I think it's even like little stuff like that. But in terms of the game, it's going to be nuts. I think at the beginning of the game, I think something might go wrong, and I think Ohio State Twitter will overreact like crazy about this defense if they make a big play or we screw up and they score on the first possession. They're going to say the same old defense, blah, blah, blah. Every defense gets scored on. Like, if we're not expecting us to shut out every team, but what I think is the key to this game, they have a horrible corner that's starting this game. Notre Dame does. Like, atrocious. Their fan base is like, they hate this guy. His name is like, what's his name? I just
Bryson Shaw. Just kidding.
It's not. I wish.
Shaw.
But this guy, I mean, you can't have a guy like the guy I'm talking. I can't think of his name. He's Clarence or something like that. He's gonna get toasted. I mean, I think the Notre Dame secondary being what it is, they have one elite player in their secondary. Other than that, they're toast. I mean, when C.J. Stroud gets into a rhythm, sometimes he starts off slow. nobody stops us. Michigan, once Stroud found his rhythm, Michigan didn't stop he threw for 400 yards. At the beginning, we just stalled on his possession or two. Oregon, once he found his rhythm, he wasn't missing. It was just the beginning of the game when we weren't scoring. He started hitting every play. Utah found his rhythm the whole game. Every other game. I mean, we're going to
clarify. Clarence Lewis.
Clarence Lewis. That's the guy. He sucks.
Number six. Everybody.
Number six is terrible. He is so bad.
He's going to be like
that's a soundbite.
Is he going to be like 28 for Michigan and 18? What was his fucking name? What was that kid's name? Watson. Or was it Watson?
Watson.
Yeah, that guy fucking sucked.
He's not as slow as Brandon Watson. Brandon Watson was just a lard, seems like, running out there trying to chase Chris Olave, who was a true freshman.
Golly.
It's just this guy. He's like, it's going to be a game like that. I mean, it's such the obvious thing to say, but our pass game is going to overrun. I want our run game to do really well, which I think it definitely will. But
me too.
Pass game is going to overpower them. We're gonna win by any means necessary.
Yeah.
Notre Dame wise, Tyler Buckner. We don't know much from him yet. He could scramble a little bit. We're a little worried about that. And then I do want to hit on this. You said how Notre Dame's D-line is one of the best, and I do agree. But I just wanted to hit on. I think Clemson definitely has the best D-line in the nation. I think Matt just didn't think about them for a second. He probably knows.
What'd you say?
I said you probably. I think you just forgot about Clemson when you were mentioning.
Oh, D-lines, yeah. I was just trying to say that Notre Dame is a really good defensive line.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I'm right with you.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's kind of up for grabs, really. I mean, it's not up for grabs. Coming back, we can all say who's got the best defensive line. They're all talented. There's like 4, 5, 6 defensive lines that are really freaking good. But anyways, I'm with you, Brady. I'm with you.
Yeah, including ours.
100%, absolutely.
And Clemson, Notre Dame's D line's really good. Their linebacker room is very solid. Safety, their free safety is really good. Corners, one of them's terrible, the other one's average. Their defense is good. Their wide receiver core is okay with Styles, like Matt mentioned, and then Braden Lindsey's very fast, and they've got some freshmen coming in. Other than that, not too worried. Like Matt said, I completely agree about manning up on the outside, letting that go.
Have to.
Mm-hmm.
Our focus is on Michael Mayer in terms of stopping the pass game. Yeah. And then stopping the run game, we just cannot let Chris Tyree, because they have a running back system. Chris Tyree is not going to be the workhorse, but we cannot let him – we cannot run – I know we have a different defense. We cannot let him get outside and just find an outside gap and cut it up and run down the side, like run for 80 yards.
Yeah, he's a big play guy. He can make some big plays. 100%.
Right. And then in terms of their big power back, Audric Estime, he's an absolute tank. Not worried about him. I think we're too physical.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Type of guy. And then defensively, I don't find a huge hole in Ohio State's defense. Even with the linebackers, I think Tommy Eichenberg and Steel Chambers will be good. I really do. I'm going to call that out right now. As much as I've hated on our linebacker core, things I've heard, Steel Chambers was pretty good last year when he was in. Tommy Eichenberg, at the beginning, pretty bad, but then he found his way in the Rose Bowl. Linebacker cores will be fine. Safety room will be really good. I think our corner room is really good. And then the D-line has so much potential. Our defense can stop them. And then, like I said, throw the ball. I know we need to run the ball, and we need to establish a run game early. But if we just go air raid straight up, like it won't be stopped by anybody.
100%. It's not. The problem is Notre Dame isn't good enough to stop it.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying.
But the thing is, once we get to teams late, Alabama might be good enough to give us a little bit of trouble. Not stop it, but you know what I mean? So it's you got to try to establish the run, but it's also once it doesn't work on one drive, we can just fucking throw it every play and it won't fucking matter. Right. You know what I mean?
It's just a sensory feel for the game.
I see we got a comment. Haskins found a huge hole from Mr. Brian. I mean, he's not even the best Haskins to ever play in the Big Ten. Rest in peace, Dwayne.
Yes. Wait, what happened? Who commented?
Our friend
Aiden. Our friend Aiden Bryan talking about Hassan Haskins. So
Haskins found a huge hole. Oh, that is true. I'll give you that, Aiden. Brady said no holes in the defense. You're right. They torched us last year.
You're right. 100%. They did last year. Yeah.
But I think Brady's saying in terms of we don't have a position grouping that stands out as worse than the other. I guess is what he's trying to say. He that wasn't necessarily saying that our defense is going to be amazing right away. I think Brady was really saying that it wasn't one level, one of the 3 levels that really is the Achilles heel of the defense. You understand what I'm getting at, Brady? Was that kind of what you were getting at?
It was. He was trying to mess with us as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we obviously
you're for sure right. He absolutely
we obviously run on high. We run talk about a lot of high state a lot on here and all that, and we keep a lot of optimism. We see a lot of the results that have gone on the field, and these are just not, the things that we're saying are not just because they're our favorite team. We're keeping it a buck here on the Cut the Taste Sports podcast. We're in the cut, all right? We're going to keep it a buck with you. We're going to talk about, Ohio State being one of the best teams in the country. Alabama's one of the best. I mean, and we even acknowledge, Michigan beat us,
Michigan torched us. That's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to comment on the comment. Like, he's right. He's absolutely right.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's all for discussion, man. All up for discussion, everything. That's if you want to have a discussion about it, completely fine. Any Michigan fans on here that have any problems, cool. Have a discussion with us. We will definitely take time out of our day to talk to you in a respectful manner about that.
Did Brady just leave?
He left, but he's right here.
I had to hop on my phone real quick. I didn't want to cut you off, so my computer's about to die. So
it's all good. Changed angles, and Matt moved up by me, but I'm gonna tell you this.
Yeah, I got a closer seat to the big boy.
Exactly, the big boy over here in this room. But hey, you know what? Notre Dame, Ohio State, man, cannot wait for this. This is gonna be crazy and all. I really can't wait to talk about that, especially tomorrow night. With D Miller, which is
we got
officially less than 24 hours, man.
We've been talking about it for a couple weeks. I mean, everybody watching tonight, you guys got to tune in tomorrow. I'm telling you, it's going to be really good. This guy played in the 95 and 96 Notre Dame Ohio State game. Okay, the last 2 times we played him in a home and home, the hype for those games was absolutely incredible. Just getting the insight with him is going to be awesome. So. Please, I mean, it's the perfect guest. We talked about it. It's the perfect guest to have for this week. Tune in tomorrow. It's going to be great. I promise we'll put on a show for you.
Especially these next couple episodes, man. I'm telling you. And speaking of hype, funny you say hype right now, because this next question is, obviously with college football coming back, let's just keep it real. There's a fuck ton of games, all right? And we can't all watch all of these games. Every single game that's on television, all right? A lot of blowouts are going to happen. There's going to be some close games and all. But which game is being overhyped the most, in your guys'
opinion? If you want, I can start this one.
Yep.
Does it have to be week 1?
I'm talking about week 1 in general. But But I mean, hey, sure. We'll talk about whatever one you're talking about when that week comes.
Okay. I was just making sure because I wasn't sure if this meant like the season but week 1 wise, I'm actually going with Oregon, Georgia. From being most
you're a dick. You're a dick. You're a dick. I'm going first for the next question. Then
you can go first.
Yeah, well, there we go.
I let you go first for the Notre Dame.
That's true. That's true. Whatever. Just go.
That's a better question than this.
Just go.
Okay. So Oregon, Georgia, like me and Matt both said, we don't expect it to be this great game. I think Oregon being 11 is absolutely stupid. It makes no sense. I think they're still a good team, but I think they're borderline top 20 at best. And then Georgia, I think, is the number 3 team for sure right now behind the top 2, Ohio State or Bama, Ohio State. Expect a fun game, maybe cool at the beginning, but then just be boring the rest of the way with Georgia's defense not giving up anything. Stetson Bennett being conservative. I still think it's an awesome game, and really cool that Oregon and Georgia are playing. Dan Lanning versus his former team. But in terms of just being the most overhyped game, it's got to be this one. Because Utah, Florida, I love that on the road at the Swamp. See what Utah's like. Arkansas, Cincinnati, really cool game between one of the best group of 5s versus a uprising SEC team. And then, obviously, Ohio State Notre Dame is the marquee game of the week. That's my reasoning behind that.
Matt, do you got a rebuttal for Brady taking your answer?
I think – no, I don't. I've tried to think. I think every other game is. I mean, Ohio State Notre Dame is the most hype, but there's a reason for it. Like Georgia, Oregon's hype because of the numbers next to the names. Like, but I think it's overhyped. Like I think Georgia's going to dominate. I think they're going to crush them. So I don't have a rebuttal. I'm sorry.
There you go. Hey, but guess what? When there comes to when there comes to subtraction, here's an addition for you, though. All right, which game's flying most under the radar? Here you go.
Here I come.
You can get that one.
Yep.
Penn State, Purdue, Thursday night, Big Ten showdown. All right, baby. Tune in. I'm telling you right now.
Why did I give you? I should have gave you the last one because
because Brady likes this game. Brady likes this one.
I love this game too. I know you guys love it.
Yeah, I think you talked about it as a Big Ten sleeper game earlier.
Yes.
That was on Chase's when we did our Big Ten preview. That was on Chase's. So that was on Chase's
memory,
list.
though.
I think it's a big game. Because I think Purdue's offense is actually going to be pretty freaking good this year. And it's on the road. It's at Purdue for Penn State. It's on the road at Purdue. I think Penn State's 3.5. It's kind of that's the spread. That might be another. That might be
a Matt pick.
Ricky pick.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. So Penn State announced that they're starting Sean Clifford over their 5-star quarterback Drew Allar.
He is the backup, though. He is
the backup. He got named backup. It wouldn't shock me at all if you see him early in this game. It wouldn't shock just because they're going to. It wouldn't shock me if they play 2 quarterbacks. Penn State, he's done it before with Will Levis, and when Clifford was struggling, or he actually got hurt against Ohio State in 2019. Will Levis came in and played a little bit. It wouldn't shock me if Franklin plays both because here's the deal: James Franklin is 11-11 in his last 2 seasons at Penn State. That's terrible. Absolutely horrible for the way they recruit. That is horrible for Penn State. Terrible. He had a really good early run at Penn State. You know, he beat us that one year, won the Big Ten. You know, had some really good teams with Saquon and McSorley, all those guys. But I think so. Franklin is. I'm not saying he's not on the hot seat. He just signed a big deal. I'm not saying he's on the hot seat, but the pressure. I mean, the pressure builds at a big program like Penn State. He's got to win. You know what I mean? Losing to Purdue early in the year and still happen to play Michigan State, Michigan, and Ohio State in their division, plus whatever crossovers they had. I would have to look at their schedule, but you got to think they probably drew at least Iowa, Wisconsin, or Minnesota, which is another game they could lose. So I think it's a big game for that reason. If Penn State cannot afford to lose this game if they want to try to win the Big Ten this year at all. They cannot afford to lose it. So keep your eyes on this. It's a Thursday night game. No NFL this week. It's college football. I think it's either on Fox or the Big Ten Network. I'm not sure which one. Is it on Fox? And it might be Joel. Joel and Gus might be calling it.
I believe they called Ohio State, Minnesota last year. I believe, right?
Right on the Thursday night.
Hey, there you go.
I think Gus and Joel with the old fist pound coming in. The first start of the game, their first call of the year. I don't know who they're calling on Saturday. I'm not sure who they're calling. Who's Big Noon on Saturday, Brady? Do you know?
Honestly, I think it might be Michigan just because it's.
I think it is. I think it's Colorado, Michigan. Anyways, so they'll be at that game. But Gus and Joel's on the call. We love some Gus and Joel. Okay, tune in to Penn State Purdue. I'm telling you, it's going to be a hell of a game, and it might just be one of Matt's picks. You never know.
Well, here's the funny thing about that, Matt, because even with the slight change of plans that we've had coming up, for the show tomorrow. Is it going to be a Matt pick? Because we're doing that right now. We're doing it right now. Look. Right there you go. Because we're gonna talk about this game right here. We're gonna pick it. We're gonna have predictions for it. Matt's pick? Question mark? I mean, I didn't put the question mark there.
Matt's pick. I got Penn State -3.5 in this one.
Okay,
for sure.
All
okay, right. I like. They always have a solid defense, 100%. Like I said, I'm not saying Penn State's coming in desperate, but they are coming in desperate. Does that make sense? Obviously, they're 0-0 and could theoretically run the table at 11-1 and win the conference or whatever. But if they lose this game, they're done. You might as well throw the season in. You're going to throw the season in the tank. It's over. They have to win this game. Their schedule's too hard. They have too many tough quality opponents. Penn State has to win this game. It's 3.5 versus Purdue. Talent levels are not even equivocal here. They're not even close.
No.
Penn State is a way more talented roster. Like I said, I think you see Clifford and Alar in this game both play. That could be good, could be bad. It depends. The two quarterback. I'm not a huge fan of the 2 quarterback system, but I think Clifford sucks. So I think Drew Alar getting some playing time now would be really good for Penn State throughout the year. So lock it on. Penn State minus 3.5. Get in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, do you have a score prediction for that, though? You want to wrap a score?
Score prediction, 33-23.
All right.
Penn State by 10.
Brady, what's yours?
This is one of my picks, too, and Matt knows that because of what I've told him. But it's obviously one of his as well. Me and Matt know that this Purdue atmosphere can get rough. It can get good.
It can get good. I will give you that. We witnessed it firsthand. It was hell. It was hell.
It was shocking that. I mean, obviously that was because that was when maybe like ever almost. But I mean, it was the music playing in the stadium. Their sound guy was great. Tyler Trent got his last wish, which makes the win better.
Rest in peace to him.
But better about it. Electric, but I still like the Penn State Nittany Lions in this game and to cover minus 3.5. Give me Penn State 30-21. And I do want to say this. Watch out for Parker Washington.
Great. Yep. He's gonna be a really good receiver. I like it. I like it, Brady. I like it.
I think it's picking up.
I think
here you come. Here you come. You're on him. You're on him.
He's a guarantee. If it's 3rd and 5 and you need a guy to just beat his man from the slot and get that first down, Parker Washington. I mean, this guy is, to me, I mean, I saw my receiver list. He was my preseason number 2 Big Ten.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you were. Yeah, what was he on your? Was he like 5 or 6? What was he?
Just 7, which
7?
I think he's late first round receiver type potential.
Yep.
Potential. That's just one of my goals here. I had him a spot ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. and see we're unbiased on this show. Every Ohio State, most people would say Marvin Harrison Jr. will probably be better than Parker Washington.
I think he is,
and he probably will be.
Yeah,
but I was giving Parker a little bit of respect for the fact that he's already kind of showed this.
Exactly.
Obviously, Marvin has showed it too, but just not to the extent because our number 1 wide receiver has had Marvin's career yards in 1 quarter before.
Yeah.
So I don't want to
that's a different level there. That's an entirely different level. And, obviously we'll see what both those receivers can do. We'll see what all the Big Ten guys can do. I'll have more Big Ten talk, weekly coming your way when conference play comes. For me, I know I rode that Purdue Boilermaker train all the way to Indianapolis, which is about an hour away from where I am right now.
Jump off the train.
Should I pick Purdue? No, I'm not. I'm gonna go Penn State.
Great pick.
I'm gonna go Penn State. I believe they'll cover as well. I'm gonna go Penn State 34, Purdue 26.
I picked the Nebraska Cornhuskers to win the West and go.
I
saw, yeah.
You guys got some good picks there. Well, great job.
Oh, good, awesome.
Hey, Purdue could very well win this game. I mean, they could. So I mean, you're not out of the woods yet, Chase. But I mean, Nebraska.
If they've been a 1-score game like 9 more times, maybe they'll.
I have a shot.
Championship.
Yeah, might have a shot with that though, but. Penn State Purdue, that's 8:00 on Fox, September 1st. Man, college football, man, it's already been back week 0, but week 1.
That game's going to be that's a hell of a kickoff game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a good one.
Gotta love it.
At Purdue, I'd rather this game be at Purdue than at Penn State. It makes it
same.
It definitely makes it better because Penn State's obviously the more talented team, but it's on the road.
And the picture, Penn State in the all-white uniforms, Purdue coming out whatever they'll be in all black and all. Right. It's just the atmosphere is gonna be jumping. It's at Ross State Stadium. I mean, love it.
By a touchdown or more at Penn State at night. The fact that this is at Ross State Stadium, which is an underrated atmosphere for a big game. Like their fans really got. I'm telling you, that was bad. Like I didn't enjoy that at all.
It is trap game city. It is the biggest. It could
all over.
You could if you made a list of the worst places to play for trap situations. Purdue's got to be up in the top 5 in college.
Sure.
Like
they beat Michigan State last year at Purdue.
That's what I'm saying. They might be number 1.
Night. I'm telling you,
they might be number 1.
Yeah, in terms of just like mediocre level programs that can just beat you on the road if you're not going in there completely focused on the game.
Absolutely.
Yep, I completely agree with that. I mean, if you guys could sum up what it means to have college football back in one word, what would you say, Brady?
Beautiful. That's my one word, beautiful. I mean, it's going to be amazing these next 15, 17 weeks watching college football, 20 weeks because of all the break down in winter, 20 plus weeks, whatever it is. I'm not going to count out the weeks with all the break. But
there's so many though, you know.
Be great.
I mean, it's awesome. Matt, what's yours?
So, yeah.
My fault, Brady. I didn't mean to cut you off, but Matt, I just want to hear what Matt's got to say about this though.
I want to hear it as well.
Adrenaline.
I can tell.
That's my word. Adrenaline.
Like it.
That's my word.
Oh yeah.
Figure it out for yourself.
I can feel it. I mean, I don't think we need to figure it out because I think it's going through my veins right now. I feel it, man.
That's the best way. That's the best word I can describe it. Because I get really pissed off a lot and I get really fucking angry when we fuck up. But I get really happy and I go nuts. I get really excited. I get really into it. The players are putting their ball like adrenaline. That's the best way I can describe it. Adrenaline. Man. It's a rush of adrenaline no matter what. Whether you're pissed, whether you're happy, whether you're in the middle. Like, it's just that's what it is. Adrenaline.
Oh, man. We better win this game.
Man. What I'll put it as for me, it's exhilarating. I mean,
there you go. See,
college football's back, man. I mean, you have the bands are playing. You got Ohio State. You got the Big Ten, SEC on CBS Music coming, which will be the Big Tens here soon. 12 o'clock, 3:30, 7:30. Even if you're half passed out at 10 o'clock, you can turn on a game and watch a Pac-12 game for some reason, or a Hawaii game if you're up even after the demon time hours, you know? A lot of things coming. I think there'll be a little more exhilaration in my bones when the NFL comes back, which we'll have a talk about that next week. But it's very exhilarating seeing college football back. It's very exhilarating.
No way. No way.
I'm starting you guys. Come on. I mean,
we know you're the Bengals junkie. It's all right.
We got it, and I gotta give my rep and love for Ohio State. So that's just how it is. But the end of the show right here, I will say, little reminder, D. Miller will be coming on the show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Guys, better check that out.
Tune in tomorrow. I'm telling you. Tune in tomorrow. You're gonna see me. I mean, I'm going at it tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow. I'm coming at him. I'm coming on him. We're on him. I cannot wait for tomorrow night. I'm going balls. I'm going balls to the wall tomorrow.
Okay. We see how that's looking. And then I'll say September the 6th at 8:15 p.m. Ian Eagle will join the show and we'll do an NFL breakdown with us.
Yep.
But man, Cut the Chase Sports Podcast. Chase Johnson, Matt Ricketts, Brady King. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
See you, man. See you guys.